My name is Jiang Che. I failed my tribulation at 300 years old and was kicked back to 16. If I told anyone this, they might think I got a raw deal, having painstakingly cultivated for 300 years only to be kicked back to the starter village at the last minute. But I myself felt this was nothing short of a divine blessing. In my previous life, I was the archetypal grind king of the cultivation world. My master said the heavenly Tao rewards diligence, so I slept only one shurchen a day. Fellow disciples said the way of the sword lies in perseverance, so I practiced under waterfalls until my muscles dissolved. Others said opportunities must be fought for, so I scoured every single named secret realm in the cultivation world. And what was the result? I grinded my way to become the youngest tribulation transcending grandmaster in 300 years, only to ram headfirst into an ascension channel that was a shoddy piece of work. The user experience of that channel was abominable. The spatial turbulence was like the morning rush hour at a vegetable market. The moment I stepped one foot in, I was kicked back out by an immense force accompanied by a go back and start over that seemed to come from the will of the world. When I opened my eyes, I was once again Jiang Che, the ordinary, newly initiated outer disciple of Qingyun sect. Good. Really, it's wonderful. In my previous life, I was so focused on cultivation that I never ate a single peaceful meal, never woke up naturally from a long sleep, and didn't even know what the tonghulu at the market down the mountain tasted like. This time I understood. To hell with all the fighting and killing. To hell with the heavenly Tao rewarding diligence. My new life goal has only one word: lie. To achieve this grand goal, I spent 3 full days traversing every inch of Qingyun sect's lands, finally finding my dream bed in an ancient cave dwelling on the back mountain, long abandoned and utterly desolate. It was a massive bluestone stele, a relic from an unknown era, covered in tadpole script that looked like scribbles. But that wasn't important. What mattered was that its surface was as smooth as a mirror, warm and moist to the touch, and it came with its own self-regulating temperature system, staying warm in winter and cool in summer. Lying on it, every cell in my body cheered. This was practically the cultivation world's top-tier memory foam mattress, and with ergonomic design to boot. From that day on, this became my exclusive napping sanctuary. The weather was pleasant today. Sunlight filtered through the vines at the cave entrance, casting dappled shadows. I lay on the stele, a blade of foxtail grass in my mouth, dreaming of having invented a spirit energy-powered automated malletang machine, and having opened a chain of franchise stores in the cultivation world, business so booming that people needed to draw lots to get a spot in line. A loud bang, accompanied by violent energy fluctuations, shook the entire cave dwelling 3 times. This sudden earthquake jolted me out of my commercial empire dream. I sat up looking displeased. Who is it? So inconsiderate? Don't they know that disturbing someone's sleep is tantamount to digging up their ancestors' graves? Rubbing my eyes, I saw a stumbling figure rush in. It was a woman impossibly beautiful. She was dressed in the moon-white robes of an inner disciple, but they were now largely stained red with blood. Her dark hair was disheveled, blood streaked her lips, and her face was as pale as paper, yet her eyes shone astonishingly bright, like stars in a cold night. She seemed to have stumbled in, desperate and without choice of path. When she saw me in the center of the cave dwelling, lying on the stone tablet of the legendary formless sword scripture, disheveled, sleepy-eyed, and with half a dogtail grass still in my mouth, her entire being crashed. Her expression was truly a sight to behold, oscillating between "Who are you? You're asking for death," and "Is there something wrong with this person's mind?" Finally settling on a look of extremely complex shock. I yawned, spat out the grass root, and lazily spoke. "Fellow Taoist, is something the matter? If not, please bring the vines from the cave entrance with you when you leave. They let in light, affecting my sleep quality." She said nothing, merely staring fixedly at the stone tablet beneath me, her breathing growing rapid. I followed her gaze and looked down, then clapped the stone tablet in sudden realization, wearing an expression that said, "You wouldn't understand this," and began to enlighten her. Oh, this is a real treasure, super comfortable to sleep on. See, to prevent others from snatching it, I even specially left my exclusive anti-counterfeit mark on it. As I spoke, I pointed to a corner of the stone tablet, next to the formless sword scripture, which was revered as the foundation of the Azure Cloud sect and coveted by countless sword cultivators eager to comprehend even a bit of it. A small turtle, crudely drawn with crooked lines scratched into the stone, lay there adorably. Luo Bingyue's face, at a visibly rapid speed, turned from white to green, then green to red, finally settling on a purplish-brown color mixed with anger, absurdity, and disbelief. Her chest heaved violently, as if she wanted to say something, but she couldn't catch her breath. A sweetness rose in her throat, and she spat out a mouthful of blood, falling straight backward. No way, big sis. Your psychological fortitude is really too poor. Isn't it just a broken stone? Is it worth getting this angry over? I sighed, ultimately unable to bring myself to leave her lying on the cold ground. I slowly crawled down from the stone tablet, dragged her onto it, and let her also experience this 5-star rated mattress. After doing all this, I clapped my hands, found a corner, leaned against the stone wall, and continued my grand enterprise of Mala Hot Pot. But the moment I turned around, she actually began to sob, whispering softly as if in a dream. It's you. How could it be you? Why are you here? From that day on, my life of idleness was declared bankrupt. The senior sister I dragged onto the stone tablet was named Luo Bingyue. She was a well-known ice beauty among the inner disciples, a favored daughter of heaven. But ever since the day I saved her, she became very strange. Specifically, she clung to me like a shadow. Junior Brother Jiang, this 300-year-old spirit calming grass will be beneficial for stabilizing your mind. She expressionlessly handed me a spiritual medicine that she refining stage disciples would fight tooth and nail for. I took it, sniffed it, and nodded. Not bad. The scent is quite unique. I'll use it as cilantro when I make soup later. Her mouth twitched, but she held it back. Junior Brother Jiang, I stumbled upon a sword move yesterday and have some points of confusion. Would you be so kind as to offer some guidance? She asked sincerely from outside my cave dwelling, where I was napping. I groggily waved my hand. How could a sword move be more important than sleep? Look, a person spends 1/3 of their life sleeping, which proves that sleep is the main theme of life. Can this sword move make you sleep sounder? No? Then why bother learning it? She was choked by my twisted logic, speechless for a long time, but the look in her eyes, far from scornful, became even more fervent. That gaze seemed to say, look, he truly is enlightening me with this seemingly absurd method, telling me not to be bound by external things, but to directly point to my true self. I was truly exhausted. I seriously suspected this woman had a screw loose, and was moreover a huge nut job capable of imagining an 8 million-word epic novel. To avoid her, I even temporarily abandoned my beloved stone tablet, and spent my days burrowing into the outer disciples' communal bunkhouse, attempting to drown her in the vast ocean of the common populace. However, what was meant to come ultimately could not be avoided. That day I was squatting in a corner of the training grounds, munching on a bag of melon seeds, watching a group of new disciples spar. Just then, an extremely arrogant voice rang out. Luo Bingyue, don't be so ungrateful. For this young master to take a liking to you is your good fortune. I looked up and was amused. Oh, an old acquaintance. Lin Fan, just by his name, you knew he was the child of destiny. In my previous life, opportunities followed him wherever he went, and a retinue of beauties always trailed behind him. Several times, the top-tier spirit herbs I discovered were snatched by him midway. At this moment, he was leading his harem, cornering Luo Bingyue in the center of the training grounds. Luo Bingyue held a long sword, her expression icy, but her aura was clearly a bit unstable, evidently from her previous injury not having fully healed. I cracked melon seeds, ready to watch the show. According to the script of my previous life, Luo Bingyue should now be overwhelmed. Then some male admirer would rush out to play the hero, and finally, Lin Fan, with a shake of his domineering aura, would subdue everyone and depart nonchalantly. However, the scene that unfolded next made the melon seeds in my hand drop. I saw that the moment Luo Bingyue saw Lin Fan's face, a monstrous hatred instantly surged in her eyes. It wasn't ordinary disgust, but deep-seated animosity that transcended the river of time. She didn't look at Lin Fan. Instead, she abruptly turned her head, her gaze piercing through the crowd, firmly locking onto me, squatting in the corner and cracking melon seeds. In that instant, her eyes were filled with despair, madness, and a kind of hysterical possessiveness. Then she turned her head away and, with a roar that wasn't directed at me so much as at fate itself, let out a bellow that I would never forget. This time, I will absolutely not let you take him from me again. Never again. In that instant, my brain felt as if it had been struck by a bolt of divine lightning from the 9 heavens. This time, again, take him from me. Countless clues linked up and exploded in my mind. Why was I kicked back to my youth? Why did Luo Bingyue look at me so strangely? Why did she react so strongly to the turtle I drew? Why did she harbor such deep hatred for Lin Fan? A ludicrous, terrifying truth that made my scalp prickle with horror surfaced in my mind. My being kicked back here wasn't some bug in the ascension pathway at all. It was her. It was Luo Bingyue. She was also reborn. And what's more, it was she who, using some forbidden method I couldn't comprehend, forcefully reversed the entire timeline, dragging me from the culmination of ascension and brutally pulling me back to the starting point 300 years ago. My slacker's dream, my retirement life, my spicy hot pot chain that hadn't even spread across the cultivation world yet. All of it had been personally destroyed by this crazy woman in front of me. I watched as the roar exacerbated her injuries, and blood once again spilled from the corner of her mouth. In that moment, I felt no emotion, only a deathly chill, as if I was about to be devoured. She wasn't in love with me. She wanted to turn me into her own eternal collectible, branded Luo Bingyue's exclusive. The sunflower seeds in my hand clattered to the ground, all spilled. I'm done for. Have I been targeted by a legendary yandere? From that day on, my life's goal underwent a complete 180-degree shift. From lying flat to running for my life, I began subtly observing Luo Bingyue, or rather, studying her. My max-level brain, which had been dormant for 300 years, finally began to operate at high speed. I pretended to be moved by her deep affection, no longer deliberately avoiding her. And even when she brought spirit medicine, I would comment with a show of seriousness. This vintage is good. Next time, remember to wash the dirt off the roots. She predictably let her guard down, thinking I had finally come to my senses and was slowly beginning to accept her love. Meanwhile, I took advantage of this rare opportunity to get close and secretly investigated the condition of her body. Soon, I made an astonishing discovery. Her power was highly unstable, often emitting a wisp of extremely sinister demonic energy, yet simultaneously enveloped by an even more powerful force. Deep within her soul, there was something extremely familiar to me. It was something I'd seen in my previous life, in an ancient text called the Forbidden Grimoire of the Demonic Realm, the Samsara Disc of Delusion, a forbidden divine artifact that uses one's own divine soul, flesh and blood, and even all karma as sacrifice to make a wish to an outer realm demon god, thereby twisting reality and reversing the flow of time. And the price of activating it was to plant a love goo in the wishmaker's soul. This love goo would lock onto the wishmaker's deepest obsession, which was the source of their delusion. The deeper the wishmaker's love for the person of their obsession, and the stronger their possessiveness, the more powerful the love goo would become, simultaneously providing an endless stream of power to the outer realm demon god. Until finally, the demon god would follow the connection of the love goo, completely devour the host's consciousness, and descend upon the world. And I, Jiang Che, was Luo Bingyue's cursed source of obsession. I was a walking, humanoid, nuclear bomb detonator. No matter how I racked my brains, I couldn't figure out. In my previous life, when did I, this steel-straight man who only focused on cultivation, ever provoke her? Perhaps during some secret realm exploration, I casually gave her a hand? Or maybe I shared half a steam bun with her. Who the hell remembers? But now none of that mattered. What mattered was that I've been bound by a crazy, yandere woman through a world rebooting method. Her love for me was poison feeding the demon god. The more she loved me, the faster the world would be destroyed. And I, with my pure immortal soul as a max-level sword immortal, was the most delicious tonic in the world to that demon god. If I ran, she would accelerate her demonization out of despair. If I didn't run, I'd be stared at by her like this every day, until one day she lost control and ate me along with this entire world. This was a goddamn death trap. After a full night of deep contemplation, I came to the only conclusion. I had to run and fast. The further, the better. But I couldn't just run blindly. With the love goo present, she'd be able to sense me no matter where I fled, to the ends of the earth. I had to find a way to temporarily block this karmic level connection and buy myself time for a golden cicada shedding its shell escape. I began frantically searching through my mind for all the ancient texts I had read in my previous life. Finally, perseverance paid off. The fragmentary scrolls of ancient formations recorded a one-time teleportation array. When used in conjunction with a spiritual herb called oblivion grass, it could, at the moment of activation, sever and shield all karmic aura from oneself, lasting for approximately 3 months. 3 months! Enough for me to run to the other end of the world and find a place to thoroughly go in a hiding under a new identity. With the plan set, I began to act. On the surface, I grew increasingly close to Luo Bingyue. Sometimes, when she was practicing her sword, I would pretend to casually offer a tip. A sword isn't used like that. You must use your heart. Just like when I sleep, I also use my heart, which is why I sleep so soundly. She listened enthralled, becoming even more convinced and trusting of me. Meanwhile, I took advantage of all the conveniences she offered me and began to secretly prepare. What I needed most now were space stones for setting up the array and oblivion grass. So I found different excuses and asked the junior disciples I usually looked after search for them. Junior brother, this is a map of Myriad Beast Valley, a forbidden area of the sect. Inside, there are soul crystals that can temper the spirit. All right, I'll go see if there are any suitable for pillows. Junior sister, this is a pass for Dansha Peak. The earth fire there can be used for artifact refining. There are a few herbs there. Your senior brother wants to make them into seasoning. Just bring some back for me. Okay, senior brother. I'll go see if the earth fire can roast sweet potatoes, and I'll bring the herbs back for you along the way. Everything was proceeding in an orderly fashion according to my plan. I looked at Luo Bingyue's exquisitely beautiful face, which softened daily due to my responses. My heart remained undisturbed, holding only an increasingly firm resolve to flee. Sorry, big sis. Your love is too heavy. My lazy, salted fish bones can't bear it. This world, let's leave it to you energetic youngsters to stir up trouble. Me, I just want to sleep. A month later, everything was ready. The curtain call location I chose was a forbidden area behind Qinyan sect, Thunderclap Abyss. This place was perpetually covered by violent lightning, its space extremely unstable, often manifesting tiny spatial rifts. It was the perfect stage to fake in accidental demise. That day, I invited Luo Bingyue to Thunderclap Abyss with me to comprehend the origin of lightning. With my hands behind my back, I spoke in a feigned, deep voice, imitating the old monsters from my previous life. Senior sister, lightning is the might of heaven and earth. Destruction and rebirth coexist within it. Observing its cycle of creation and destruction may offer some enlightenment to your sword Dao. Luo Bingyue's eyes gleamed as she nodded heavily. She thought this was the first time I had proactively taken her to cultivate a milestone in the thawing of our relationship. She didn't know. This was the farewell ceremony I had meticulously prepared for her. We entered Thunderclap Abyss, one after the other. Violent thunder snakes danced wildly in the air, emitting deafening roars. I meticulously calculated the exact landing spot of each lightning bolt and the precise moment spatial rifts would appear. Now, I accurately anticipated a particularly thick purple lightning bolt about to strike a highly unstable spatial node, then abruptly pushed Luo Bingyue. "Junior brother, you," she cried out in surprise, stumbling backward from my push and moving out of the most dangerous area. I, on the other hand, charged towards that lightning bolt, simultaneously injecting the last trace of spiritual energy into a magical artifact I had prepared long ago, one capable of triggering a violent spiritual energy explosion. I turned back, giving her a smile that was arguably the peak of my acting in this life, a smile mixed with resolve and tenderness. "Senior sister, remember, the ultimate purpose of the sword is protection." As I finished speaking, the purple lightning bolt crashed down, and the artifact on my person simultaneously detonated. With a colossal bang unlike any before, the entire Thunderclap Abyss trembled. Blinding white light swallowed everything. A furious energy storm instantly formed, and countless dark spatial rifts flickered madly at the explosion center. And in the instant before that white light flared, I crushed the teleportation array disc hidden in my sleeve. The aura of oblivion grass instantly enveloped me, and a gentle yet powerful spatial force swept me into it. I felt the faint, almost imperceptible connection between Luo Bingyue and me being severed by an invisible force. The long-lost sense of freedom made me almost want to burst out laughing. Farewell, Azure Cloud Sect. Farewell, Luo Bingyue. Farewell, my stone tablet that hadn't even warmed up yet. The world is vast. I'm going to wander it. I, Jiang Che, am now called Wang Dachui. When I was unceremoniously spat out of that damned one-time teleportation array, landing face first in the dirt, I found myself in a picturesque mortal kingdom, the border town of Luoxia City in the Great Yin Dynasty. There are no cultivators here, no spiritual energy, only mortals who rose with the sun and rested with its setting. I absolutely love it here. The effects of the oblivion grass were even better than I'd imagined. It not only temporarily shielded the sensing of the love goo, but also completely masked the lingering, unwashable scent of a cultivator on me. Now, I was just an ordinary 16-year-old boy, without the strength to even tie up a chicken. For a living, and to better maintain my disguise, I used the last few pieces of silver I had to take over a failing blacksmith shop in the south of the city. From then on, there was no longer Jiang Che, the Tribulation Crossing Grandmaster. There was only Wang Dachui, the blacksmith who slept until he woke naturally each day and then forged iron shirtless. Clang! Clang! The forge was burning fiercely. I wielded my hammer, rhythmically striking a glowing iron billet. Sweat trickled down my back, but my heart was filled with boundless contentment. This is life. Every day, I'd forge iron and exercise. At noon, I'd go to the small tavern on the corner, spend 10 copper coins on a pot of cheap, strong liquor accompanied by a plate of aniseed broad beans. And in the evening, I'd lie on a lounge chair in the shop's backyard, listening to the storyteller next door animatedly spin preposterous tales like the ice immortal of Qing Yun's sect sacrificing herself for love, and a mysterious master resolving grievances with a smile. Whenever I heard this part, I would sincerely exclaim, "Well said. That mysterious master is truly a great hero." Then, with a clear conscience, I'd roll over and continue sleeping. I lived like this for a full 3 months. I even started to consider marrying the girl from the tofu shop next door, the one with 2 dimples when she smiled, completely settling down here, having a bunch of kids, and peacefully living out this second life. However, at the end of the 3rd month, just as the effects of the oblivion grass were about to wear off, my peaceful life was shattered. That day, I was drinking my liquor and listening to the storyteller when suddenly my heart gave an inexplicable jolt. It was like a broken zither string, clumsily and tremblingly reattached. That connection from the depths of my soul, the sensation of the love goo, had returned. The wine pot in my hand dropped to the ground with a smash, shattering into pieces. Everyone in the tavern looked over, and the owner cried out with distress. "Oh dear, young Master Wong, what's happened to you?" I ignored him, rushed out of the tavern, my face ashen, and looked up at the sky. The sky was still the same sky, but my heart had sunk to rock bottom. She's coming. Sure enough, 3 days later, the sky over Luoxia City changed. A terrifying army of cultivators descended like heavenly soldiers and generals, sealing off the entire Luoxia City. The mortals in the city trembled in fear, kneeling down in worship, believing that immortals had descended to the mortal realm. Only I knew that demons had arrived. In the very center of the army was a magnificent flying carriage crafted from millennium-old glacial ice. The curtains of the flying carriage were gently parted by a slender, pale hand and a breathtakingly beautiful face that I never wanted to see again in my life appeared in everyone's sight. Luo Bingwe. She was more beautiful than 3 months ago, and colder. It was a coldness that seeped into one's very bones. She was dressed in a luxurious black gown, its hem embroidered with intricate silver thread ice flower patterns. Her entire being was like a deity walking among mortals, high above, untouched by the mundane world. She became the new city lord of this city. Her first order upon taking office was a citywide lockdown and a house-to-house search for a faithless man. Proclamations covered the entire city. There was no image on them, only a single line of text. Seeking my husband, Jiang Che. Fair-skinned, handsome, lazy by nature, fond of sleep. Find him, and be rewarded 10,000 gold, and in theft as a marquis over 10,000 households. Hide him, and your entire family will be slaughtered, your 9 generations exterminated. I stood in the corner of the crowd, looking at the proclamation, my hands and feet turning cold. I looked up, and my gaze met hers as she scanned the entire city from the city tower. Even from a great distance, I could still feel the obsession and madness in her eyes. She had grown thinner, her chin sharper, and those once cool, clear eyes now held only an impenetrable darkness. She saw me. No, she didn't see Wang Dachui, but her gaze paused perceptibly when it swept over my direction. The sensation of the goo of love became incredibly clear at that moment. Terrified, I scrambled back into my blacksmith shop, nailing the doors and windows shut. Run! I must run now, but the city gates were sealed, and her informants were everywhere above and below. How could a mere mortal like me escape? I paced frantically in the room, my gaze sweeping over the pile of mundane, iron tools I had forged in the corner, meant to be sold for wine money. A crazy and audacious plan began to form in my mind. That night, the moon was dark and the wind howled fiercely. The blacksmith shop south of Luoxia City suddenly erupted in a sky-piercing blaze and a sword's cry that shocked the world. A brilliant sword light, like lightning tearing through the night sky, shot straight up into the heavens. A majestic wave of spiritual energy, centered on the blacksmith shop, instantly swept across the entire Luoxia City. A spiritual artifact has appeared. Heavens, it's a spiritual artifact. How can a mundane place like Luoxia City have one? Quick, go seize it. In an instant, all the cultivators sent to search, as well as the rogue cultivators hidden within the city, frantically rushed toward my blacksmith shop. As for me, the instigator, I had already changed into a night suit a moment before the sword light flared, and, seizing the instant everyone's attention was diverted, slipped out through a dog hole and vanished into the chaotic night. Behind me, a fierce battle erupted among the cultivators, vying for the low-grade spiritual artifact I had forged. Further away, atop the city tower, Luo Bingyue's cold gaze locked onto the center of the chaos. Then, as if realizing something, she abruptly cast her gaze towards the shadows of the city wall. But that place was already empty. Huh. A soft laugh, filled with boundless coldness, echoed in the night sky. You've grown stronger again. That's good. My legend began with the mysterious blacksmith of Luoxia City. But my suffering was far from over. After escaping Luoxia City, I journeyed east without stopping, hiding by day and traveling by night, braving the elements. I had only one goal, to reach the sea. I couldn't stay on this continent anymore. Perhaps after my first escape was discovered by her, her madness underwent a qualitative change. Consequently, she not only became even more maniacal and obsessed, but also gathered a group of similarly obsessed individuals as her subordinates. This force was none other than the most secretive and malevolent otherworldly organization from my previous life. However, both the timing and the objective were vastly different from my past. The timing was, of course, much earlier, and this organization's sole purpose was surprisingly just to find me. This force, coupled with her unreasonable tracking ability, left me with nowhere to hide. I had to travel to another continent, isolated by boundless oceans, where the sky was high and the emperor far away. Perhaps only there could I find a place for myself. Half a month later, I arrived, ragged and worn, at Wanghai City, the largest port city on the shore of the East Sea. With the last bit of money I had, I managed to get onto a giant merchant ship preparing for a long voyage. The captain took pity on me, letting me work as a deckhand in exchange for food. Standing at the bow of the ship, feeling the salty sea breeze, and watching the outline of Wanghai City and the continent slowly shrink in the distance, I let out a long sigh of relief. This time, surely I would be free. The ship sailed for 10 days, smooth sailing all the way. I had already befriended the sailors on board, listening to their tales of sea monsters and merfolk every day, and life was quite pleasant. However, on the morning of the 11th day, disaster struck. Cold, so cold. I was awakened by a chill. I found that on the walls of the cabin, a layer of white frost had appeared. I rushed onto the deck and was utterly stunned by the sight before me. Though it was the height of summer, large flakes of snow were falling on the sea. The once azure seawater was visibly, at a speed discernible to the naked eye, starting from the distant horizon where the sea met the sky, rapidly freezing into ice. Crack, crack. The ice layer spread at an incredible speed. Our merchant ship was frozen solid on the sea surface, unable to move. Everyone was scared senseless by this heaven and earth anomaly. Only I, my body chilled to the bone, felt as if I had fallen into an ice cave. It was her. It was Luo Bingwe. She had come after me. Unable to find me, she resorted to this most unreasonable method, freezing the entire sea area to trap and kill me here. Just as everyone was filled with terror, angry roars erupted from beneath the frozen sea surface. Many sea beasts inhabiting this area, enraged by the sudden freezing, began to frantically strike the ice layer. Even more terrifying, countless streams of seawater were drawn up from the surface by an invisible force, coalescing in the air into grotesque ice golems wielding ice spears. Their sole target was our ship trapped on the ice. Driven by rage and despair, the demonic god power within Luo Bingwe had begun to spiral out of control. Run! The cultivator guards on the ship screamed in terror, flying up on their swords, desperate to escape. But they hadn't flown far before they were riddled like sieves by the dense barrage of ice spears in the air, plummeting down. Despair enveloped everyone. Hiding in a corner of the ship's cabin, watching the hellish scene outside, I felt a sense of powerlessness for the first time. Run? Where to run? For 1,000 li in every direction. This had become her domain. Just then, an enraged 1,000-year-old sea turtle demonic beast suddenly crashed through the ice layer, its massive head lunging towards the cabin where I was. In that moment of life and death, my survival instinct finally overrode everything else. I can't die. I haven't even slept enough yet. I stopped suppressing the power within me. The vast spiritual power, long dormant and belonging to a transcendent tribulation grand being, erupted with a roar. I unleashed a punch, my fist winged like a dragon, directly shattering the sea turtle demonic beast's head. The immense aftershock of the power also created a massive crack in the ice layer beneath my feet. It was also with this punch that I unexpectedly discovered, directly beneath the ship, deep beneath the seabed of the 10,000 jong deep sea, a remarkably pure and ancient energy seemed to be dormant. It was Dragon Chi. It was an ancient dragon clan primal essence that had been dormant for untold tens of thousands of years. A thought instantly flashed through my mind. Fortune favors the bold. Without the slightest hesitation, I mobilized all my spiritual power to protect myself, plunged headfirst into the icy fissure, and frantically dove towards the source of that dragon chi. On the surface, Luo Bingyue seemed to sense the aura I unleashed, and her ice sealing and attacks became even more ferocious. Beneath the surface, I endured immense water pressure and bone-chilling cold, finally finding that dragon essence, emitting a faint golden glow deep within the seabed mud. I swallowed it in one gulp. A dragon roar, as if from primeval chaos, exploded deep within my divine soul. Vast and immense life energy instantly suffused my entire being. My body, weakened by rebirth, was rapidly transformed and strengthened under the impact of this power. My strength began to recover at an incredible speed. 10%, 20%, 30%. When I opened my eyes again, golden dragon shadows seemed to swim within them. I could feel that this ocean had become an extension of my body. Break! Open! I let out a long howl, the sound transforming into a rolling dragon roar, piercing through 10,000 fathoms of seawater, then shooting up into the sky, and the entire sea's surface exploded behind me. 10,000 acres of surging waves were stirred by me, transforming into a water dragon connecting heaven and earth, which, with unparalleled might, fiercely crashed into that indestructible 10,000-mile expanse of ice. The ice layer, under the impact of the water dragon, shattered inch by inch. Riding the monstrous waves, I broke out of the ice, galloping without a backward glance towards another direction on the continent. Behind me lay the majestic power of the collapsing ice, and from within that ice crystal flying carriage, a gaze that had grown even more fervent and insane. In the cultivation world, the legend of the East Sea Dragon Lord, shattering ice in a single rage, began to circulate. As for me, I just wanted to find a place to get a good sleep and calm my nerves. After causing such a huge commotion at sea, I realized that ordinary places could no longer hide me. That madwoman, Luo Bingyue, would stop at nothing to find me. I had to find a place that could completely cut off her senses. A name appeared in my mind, the demon Weeping Sand Sea. It was one of the most famous forbidden lands in the cultivation world, an endless black desert. There, magnetic fields were chaotic, space was turbulent, and more importantly, it was filled with a strange demonic energy that could disturb divine sense and shield karma. For cultivators, it was hell, but for me, it was heaven. I plunged headfirst into this black sea of sand. The moment I entered, I felt the connection of the love goo on my body suppressed to an unprecedented low by the surrounding chaotic energy field. I let out a long sigh, feeling as if a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Freedom. Long-lost freedom. I had wandered aimlessly in the desert for 3 days before finally finding a place to settle down. A dilapidated temple, more than half buried by wind-blown sand. The Buddha statues in the temple had collapsed, leaving only a broken lotus throne. Exhausted and too tired to be particular, I cleared the sand from the lotus throne and lay directly on it, preparing to sink into a profound, world-blotting sleep. This sleep was incredibly sound. What I didn't know was that while I was in a deep sleep, a strange phenomenon was unfolding. My soul, strengthened by the essence of dragons and infused with a hint of a mortal spirit, in its completely relaxed state, naturally emanated an aura of pure peace and tranquility. This aura was the natural nemesis to the violent demonic energy within the demon weeping sands. Centered around the ruined temple where I slept, the black demonic energy within a 10-mile radius began to be purified and dispersed, little by little. The black sand gradually returned to its normal color. In the air, faint spiritual energy even began to coalesce once more. Days later, when some cultivators, trapped in the demon-weeping sands and on the verge of despair, saw a soft, golden light, as if bathed in Buddha's radiance, illuminating the depths of the desert, they all thought they were hallucinating. When they stumbled into this pure land and saw the ruined temple and the young man inside, lying on the lotus throne, drooling in his sleep, everyone was utterly transfixed. Is it the son of Buddha descended to the world? It's him. He must have used supreme Buddhist power to purify this demonic land. Look, the lotus throne beneath him is starting to radiate light again. I was awakened by a flurry of noisy chatter. I opened my eyes to see a group of cultivators kneeling before my bed, prostrating themselves before me and mumbling prayers. What's going on? I was just sleeping. Before I could explain, a sharp-eyed cultivator pointed at the lotus throne I had just been lying on and exclaimed in astonishment. A miracle! It's a miracle! The demon sealing marks left by the ancient Buddha have been activated by the son of Buddha. I looked down and saw that on the lotus throne, due to the infusion of my aura, some golden runes that had originally faded had unexpectedly lit up again. I examined them carefully, and my internal knowledge base automatically began to search. This was the Great Sun Tathagata demon-suppressing seal, used by the ancient Buddhist sect to seal away outer realm celestial demons. A new idea sliced through my jumbled thoughts. Before, I had only thought about shielding myself and escaping, but it had never occurred to me that I might be able to seal them. If I could master this sealing technique, could I then seal away the demonic power within Luo Bingyue, along with those accursed love goo, together? Just as I fell into contemplation, a sudden commotion arose at the edge of this newly formed oasis. On the distant horizon, a colossal wave of demonic energy, completely opposite to the peaceful aura here, was sweeping towards us like a tsunami. Wherever the demonic energy passed, the sand that had just returned to its normal color turned as black as ink once more. Luo Bingyue, too, has pursued me into this desert. She's like a moving source of pollution, while I, on the other hand, have become a walking purifier. The two of us, in this vast sea of sand, formed a strange, starkly contrasting picture of black and white. I watched the increasingly close demonic aura in the distance, sighed, and got up from my lotus throne. Luo Bingyue, too, has pursued me into this desert. She's like a moving source of pollution, while I, on the other hand, have become a walking purifier. The two of us, in this vast sea of sand, formed a strange, starkly contrasting picture of black and white. I watched the increasingly close demonic aura in the distance, sighed, and got up from my lotus throne. It seems I won't be able to sleep now. Events have completely spiraled out of my control. Mysterious blacksmith, dragon lord of the east sea, desert Buddha child. Running all this way, not only did I fail to successfully go into hiding, but I was forced to become a rising legend in the cultivation world instead. My deeds have completely disrupted the timeline of my previous life. The most direct consequence is that I've become the focal point for all major factions. The first to come knocking was an old acquaintance, Lin Fan, the child of destiny. He came with his harem, aggressively blocking the entrance to my Buddhalite oasis. He probably thought that I, this suddenly emerging legend, had stolen his thunder and threatened his protagonist status. Immediately after, the Righteous Alliance, led by several top sects, also arrived. Their target was clear, Luo Bingyue. In their eyes, that woman, whose demonic aura raged wherever she went, was an out-and-out world-destroying demon who had to be eradicated. What surprised me most was that people from the 6 demonic sects also got involved. They weren't interested in eradicating Luo Bingwe, but they were full of greed for the pure extraterrestrial demon god power within her. They wanted to capture Luo Bingwe alive and study her as a source of demonic power that could continuously provide energy. Thus, in this desolate Demon's Cry desert, an extremely strange situation formed. 3 factions formed a tripartite standoff outside my Buddhalite oasis, wary of each other, yet all eyeing me covetously. And I, the focal point of all these events, was sitting cross-legged on my lotus throne, gazing at the massive crowd outside with a look of utter despair. I just want to sleep. What did I do wrong? Demonic monk, hand over the demonis at once. An elder from the Righteous Alliance shouted at me righteously. I roll my eyes. Which eye of yours saw me as a monk? And she's not even here. How do you know I'm hiding her? Kids, stay out of it. Hand that woman over to us, and the 6 demonic sects will guarantee your safety. A protector from the demonic Tao said ominously. I pursed my lips. Believe you? My ass. You old devils are rotten to the core. Zhang Ke, get out here. You coward who only hides behind women. Lin Fan's clamor was the most grating. I rubbed my ears, deciding to ignore him. Just as tensions mounted, Luo Bingwe arrived. She walked step by step from afar, treading on black demonic energy, finally stopping just outside the encirclement. Her gaze pierced through everyone, landing solely on me. That look was incredibly complex. There was joy at seeing me safe and sound, bewilderment at my Buddhist radiance, but even more, towering fury at seeing me put on display by so many people. Everyone who approaches him. Her icy voice reverberated throughout the entire sand sea. Chaldee. Before her words had even faded, she moved. Without any wasted movement, she simply raised her hand, and endless demonic energy transformed into thousands upon thousands of black ice cones, indiscriminately shooting towards everyone within the encirclement. Madwoman! She's a madwoman! Quick, form a defensive array. Several factions instantly fell into disarray, forced to join forces to resist this world-shattering attack. A massive, earth-shattering melee thus abruptly erupted. As for me, watching the chaotic scene before my own eyes lit up. An opportunity. This was practically a heaven-sent chance to escape. Taking advantage of the moment, everyone's attention was drawn to Luo Bingwe. I quietly slipped off the lotus throne, crouching low, ready to sneak away from the other side of the battlefield. However, I had only run a few steps when I felt a chill down my spine. Luo Bingwe's attack suddenly came to an eerie halt. She sharply turned her head, her pitch-black eyes locking onto me, who was stealthily making a run for it. In that moment, her eyes revealed a sorrow and despair so profound, as if she had been betrayed by the entire world. You still intend to leave? Her voice trembled. My scalp prickled, and I ran even faster. Her despair, in the next second, transformed into an even more terrifying madness. Don't you dare leave! She shrieked, no longer caring about anyone else. All her attacks immediately shifted direction, bombarding the path of my escape with furious intensity. She didn't want to hurt me. She wanted to use her attacks to block all my escape routes, forcing me back. Meanwhile, the righteous path, the demonic path, and Lin Fan, seeing the opening Luo Bingwe presented, immediately seized the opportunity. All sorts of magic artifacts and divine abilities came raining down on Luo Bingwe and me. Thus, the entire scene transformed into the most absurd spectacle in the history of cultivation. I ran for my life at the front. Luo Bingwe chased me madly from behind, incidentally attacking anyone who stood between us. And further behind them, the righteous path, the demonic path, and the son of destiny from all over the world were chasing after both of us, attacking simultaneously. Jiang Che, a lazy slacker who only wanted to lie flat, profoundly understood that day what it meant for the entire world to be against me. I was being hunted by the entire world. This feeling was novel, yet utterly screwed up. Behind me was Luo Bingyue, her eyes bloodshot, like a tireless perpetual motion machine. Demonic energy surged around her, extinguishing all life wherever she passed. Further behind her, Lin Fan wanted to step on me to prove he was heaven's chosen. The Righteous Alliance wanted to subdue demons and eliminate evil, incidentally purifying me. This demonic monk and the 6 demonic sects wanted to package us both up and take us away to be made into 2 different flavored power banks. I was chased by them all the way from the eastern side of the Demon Weeping Sands to its western edge. This was the Horn of Guay Su, the very edge of the continent. Any further forward lay the legendary Chaotic Abyss, where even light could not escape. The end of the world, the edge of the sky and sea. I stopped. It wasn't that I didn't want to run anymore. It was that there was nowhere left to run. I was covered in wounds, my spiritual energy almost completely depleted. Although the integrated dragon essence was powerful, it couldn't withstand such high-intensity consumption. Now, I felt utterly drained. All I wanted was to find a bed and sleep for an eternity. Who? I leaned on my knees, panting heavily. The pursuers behind me also finally stopped. Everyone looked at me, then at the Guay Su abyss behind me. Their gazes varied. Luo Bingyue also stopped 100 zhang away from me. She didn't attack immediately, merely watching me silently. Her condition was even worse than mine. Her black gown was severely damaged, and on her stunning face, one half was coldly serene and sacred, while the other was covered in bizarre, black, demonic patterns. Her eyes were at times clear, at times crazed. Clearly, the consciousness belonging to Luo Bingyue within her was waging its final struggle against the demon god. Zhang. She spoke, her voice hoarse, with a hint of pleading. Don't go over there. I froze for a moment. This was Luo Bingyue's voice, but the next second, her expression twisted into a malevolent grimace, and an even older, grander voice emanated from her mouth, carrying supreme majesty and greed. Finally, I've caught you, my adorable little snack. The aura of that immortal soul on you. It's truly too delicious. As soon as this voice emerged, everyone present, including Lin Fan, felt a tremor deep within their souls. They finally realized that what they were hunting was not some cultivator who had succumbed to evil, but a true, extraterrestrial, unspeakable horror. I looked at her, or rather, it, and sighed. I say, old pal, you've been chasing me halfway across the world. Doesn't fuel cost anything? I wiped some bloodstains from my face and complained weakly. What exactly are you after? What am I after? The ancient voice laughed, its laughter making the entire space tremble. I want everything about you. Your body, your power, especially that sliver of immortal soul that doesn't belong to this world. As for that love, it manipulated Luo Bingyue's body, extending a finger. On its fingertip, the illusory butterfly flickered in and out of sight. Did you truly think this was for love? This love, Gu, wasn't to make you fall in love with her. The devil god's voice carried a hint of mockery as it unveiled the mystery that had sent me fleeing for my life. It's a coordinate, a soul beacon that transcends world dimensions. It's the key I use to precisely locate you, this lost lamb, within the vast sea of humanity. My pupils contracted sharply. Last time, you failed your tribulation and perished, your essence scattered. But that wisp of your immortal soul escaped into reincarnation, causing me to lose your coordinates. I spent hundreds of years to recalculate your approximate whereabouts. And this woman, it pointed at itself. Her obsession with you is the most perfect tool in this world. I planted a love goo in her, then parasiticized a wisp of my split consciousness within her body. The deeper her longing for you, the stronger the love goo's signal, and the easier it would be for me to find you. So, without her bone-deep love, I might still be drifting in the universe now. Luo Bingyue. This once aloof ice fairy, now the world-ending witch, was nothing more than a used, pathetic tool. Her love, her obsession, her everything, all became the demon god's probe to locate me. I looked at her face, struggling between clarity and madness. For the first time, there was no longer any disgust or fear in my heart. Only an unspeakable complex emotion remained. So, that's how it truly is. I murmured to myself. Now, you have nowhere to run. The demon god's voice was filled with the joy of certain victory. Come obediently, and become a part of my return to the world. I will devour your immortal soul, and using your body as a foundation, reshape my divine essence. It spread its arms. Overwhelming demonic energy transformed into a gigantic hand, blotting out the sky, and reached out to grab me. In the distance, Lin Fan and people from both the righteous and demonic factions were so terrified after hearing this shocking secret that they dared not move. They finally understood that behind this farce was a game played at the level of gods and demons. As mere mortals, they didn't even qualify as cannon fodder. Looking at that immensely oppressive demonic hand, I suddenly smiled. You've said so much. Do you really think you've already won? I slowly straightened up and patted the dust off myself. Me, I don't have much ambition. I just want to coast through life and get a good night's sleep. But you absolutely shouldn't have, because of such trivial matters. Disturb my sleep. I didn't want to be a hero, nor was I bothered to save the world. But this demon god made a fatal mistake. It made me realize that as long as it existed for one more day, as long as the love goo within Luo Baignue remained for one more day, I would never know peace. My salted fish life would forever be an unattainable dream. To solve this trouble once and for all, for my grand ideal of being able to sleep in peacefully in the future, I decided I wouldn't run anymore. You want to devour my immortal soul? I looked at the approaching demonic hand. Instead of dodging, I sat down cross-legged, just like I did in the ruined temple in the desert back then. Come on, I'm right here. My actions caused everyone to freeze. Even the demon god hesitated, seemingly judging what conspiracy I might be up to. Meanwhile, I had already closed my eyes, my spiritual sense sinking into my body. The forging memories from the blacksmith shop, the dragon essence from beneath the East Sea, the Buddhist seals from the demon cry sands. All the experiences from this escape, all the opportunities one was forced to acquire, rapidly pieced together in my mind. A bold plan, unprecedented and unmatched, took shape within me. My actions caused everyone to freeze. Even the demon god hesitated, seemingly judging what conspiracy I might be up to. Meanwhile, I had already closed my eyes, my spiritual sense sinking into my body. The forging memories from the blacksmith shop, the dragon essence from beneath the East Sea, the Buddhist seals from the demon cry sands. All the experiences from this escape, all the opportunities one was forced to acquire, rapidly pieced together in my mind. A bold plan, unprecedented and unmatched, took shape within me. Forging uses mortal fire to temper mortal iron, removing impurities and shaping it into a tool. Sealing uses laws to construct a cage, isolating inside from outside, suppressing all things. What if I used my body as the furnace, dragon essence as the fire, and a Buddhist seal as the hammer? Could I forge the elusive goo of love's coordinates into an eternal soul seal? The demon god used the goo of love as a key to open the door to my soul. Then I would turn the tables, permanently locking that key in the keyhole, and then welding the door shut. You're playing tricks. The demon god lost its patience, and its demonic hand descended with a roar. Just as that demonic hand was about to touch me, I suddenly opened my eyes. One of my eyes was a dazzling golden dragon pupil, filled with endless life and majesty. The other sparkled with a serene wine-shaped Buddhist seal, containing the compassionate law to suppress all evil. What you want, I'll give it to you. I forced out a drop of vital blood from my glabella. The blood was a faint golden hue, exuding a pure immortal spiritual aura that made even the demon god tremble. I flicked my finger, and this drop of blood did not fly towards the demon god, but instead accurately shot towards the invisible causal line, formed by the goo of love, between me and Luo Bingye. Oh no! The demon god instantly understood my intention and wanted to withdraw its hand, but it was already too late. Its greed for immortal souls was instinctive, an irresistible temptation. That drop of vital blood was like the most deadly bait. Before it could react, the divine sense it had attached to the causal line instinctively pounced on it. My actions caused everyone to freeze. Even the demon god hesitated, seemingly judging what conspiracy I might be up to. Meanwhile, I had already closed my eyes, my spiritual sense sinking into my body. The forging memories from the blacksmith shop, the dragon essence from beneath the EC, the Buddhist seals from the demon cry sands. All the experiences from this escape, all the opportunities one was forced to acquire, rapidly pieced together in my mind. A bold plan, unprecedented and unmatched, took shape within me. Forging uses mortal fire to temper mortal iron, removing impurities and shaping it into a tool. Sealing uses laws to construct a cage, isolating inside from outside, suppressing all things. What if I used my body as the furnace, dragon essence as the fire, and a Buddhist seal as the hammer? Could I forge the elusive goo of love's coordinates into an eternal soul seal? The demon god used the goo of love as a key to open the door to my soul. Then I would turn the tables, permanently locking that key in the keyhole, and then welding the door shut. You're playing tricks. The demon god lost its patience, and its demonic hand descended with a roar. Just as that demonic hand was about to touch me, I suddenly opened my eyes. One of my eyes was a dazzling golden dragon pupil, filled with endless life and majesty. The other sparkled with a serene wine-shaped Buddhist seal, containing the compassionate law to suppress all evil. What you want, I'll give it to you. I forced out a drop of vital blood from my glabella. The blood was a faint golden hue, exuding a pure immortal spiritual aura that made even the demon god tremble. I flicked my finger, and this drop of blood did not fly towards the demon god, but instead accurately shot towards the invisible causal line, formed by the goo of love, between me and Luo Bingye. Oh no! The demon god instantly understood my intention and wanted to withdraw its hand, but it was already too late. Its greed for immortal souls was instinctive, an irresistible temptation. That drop of vital blood was like the most deadly bait. Before it could react, the divine sense it had attached to the causal line instinctively pounced on it. The entire world fell silent at this moment. Centered around that drop of vital blood, a massive magic array formed by countless golden wand symbols, unfurled with a crash. The great sun Tathagata demon suppression seal activated. Dragon roars and Buddhist chants echoed simultaneously between heaven and earth. No, the demon god let out a roar of extreme terror. It found that the golden magic array, unfurling with the goo of love as its core, was like a living black hole, frantically pulling out the divine soul it had parasitic within Luo Bingye's body, through that causal line. It wanted to sever the connection, but the goo of love had long been deeply bound to its divine soul, becoming an inescapable shackle. It tried to attack me, but golden dragon shadows rose around my body, blocking all demonic energy attacks outside. I offer my blood as a sacrifice, dragon essence as fire, and the Buddha seal as a lock. With emotion as a prison, and the goose spell as a chain, I command, seal the Brahma Prajna dreamless realm. The huge golden formation rapidly contracted under my control, transforming into a dazzling golden wand symbol that firmly sealed the demon god's vast spiritual phantom. Finally, all the light disappeared, leaving only a fingernail-sized golden crystal in midair. In the center of the crystal, a struggling black shadow could faintly be seen. I reached out and caught the crystal. This was the demon god's end, a soul prison sealed for 10,000 years, never to be reborn. I weighed the crystal in my hand and casually tossed it into the abyss of Gui Su behind me. Now, I should be able to sleep soundly. After doing all this, I felt completely drained and the world spun around me. Ahead, as the demon god was stripped away, the demonic marks on Luo Bingyue's body quickly faded. She let out a muffled groan and fell from the sky. I instinctively flew forward and caught her before she hit the ground. She lay quietly in my arms, her appearance of white robes as pure as snow restored, but her face was pale and her breath was weak. Her long eyelashes trembled, as if she was about to wake up. I looked at her and remained silent for a moment. I knew that although the demon god was sealed, the influence of the love Gu remained, and her obsession with me still lingered. As soon as she woke up and saw me, this damned trouble would resurface. I was tired, truly tired. I extended a finger and gently touched her glabella. A faint but pure wisp of immortal soul power passed into her, erasing all memories in her mind concerning the demon god, the pursuit, the love Gu, and me. Forget it, I said softly. You are still the high and mighty ice fairy of Qinyan sect. Don't let your mortal heart be stirred for someone unworthy again. Just consider it a nightmare. When you wake up, there will be no trace left. After all this was done, I gently laid her on a clean rock, turned, and glanced at the distant spectators who had been completely petrified. I grinned at them, then leaped into the chaotic abyss of Gui Su. Of course, I wasn't committing suicide. Beneath Gui Su, there was another realm. It was the convergence point of 3,000 minor worlds and the most perfect hiding place. From then on, the cultivation world had one less world-destroying demoness and one more ruthless immortal cultivating in seclusion. The world also saw the emergence of countless legends. The mysterious blacksmith, the dragon lord of the East Sea, the Buddha's son of the desert, and finally, that nameless individual at the ends of the earth who, with a single thought, subdued gods and demons. The stories filled the heavens. As for me, Jiangche, within an unknown fragment world in the Goetiu abyss, I found a picturesque waterfall, opened a cave dwelling behind it, and laid out a 10,000-year cold jade bed. I yawned and lay down on it. This time I can finally have a proper sleep.